Hi guys! Welcome to another vlog of my visual journal. Today I'm going to present you the platform that I used to volunteer in Vietnam, and at the end we will also have a Q&A section that is based on the questions that you've sent me earlier. So let's start! This is how the platform looks like. I just logged in with my account. So now let's go and find the host. It can be anywhere in the world. You can also filter out by keyword, maybe the activity that you are interested in, but for now let's go to Vietnam and search for all the possible volunteering projects. You get a list that is actually made by every host in Vietnam, and you can actually see what interests you and what you think you cannot do or you don't want to do. For example, let's go to this English cafe page. It's actually the first place where I volunteered in Vietnam, and this is a link to my vlog if you haven't checked it out. You can see when you can go, so from June to December in this case. You have a description where they say what their mission is, who they are, why they need help with, how you can help them, and what they offer. They also mention the schedule, 3 to 4 hours, and then 4 or 5 times shifts per week. You can actually stay with them, so they arrange accommodation with you. If you want to be in a shared room, if not, then they can recommend you other places. This really depends on the hosts. And then they tell you actually what your role is. My opinion is that the most important section of this website is the feedback, because here the feedback comes from both the hosts and the workawayers. Regarding the feedback section that you've just seen on the Workaway platform, this was really useful for me to plan my itinerary. I didn't know where to go in Vietnam, like which area to focus on with volunteering. Vietnam, if you've seen it on the map, it's a really long country, so I was thinking that it's too much to travel from north to south, even though I would have liked to experience that. But I decided instead to focus on slow traveling, to have more time to interact with people that I live with, the children that I would be helping with English. It's nicer to form a bond, even if it's a temporary one. And therefore I decided to focus only on the north part and central part, so I sent out as many messages as I could to the hosts that would be placed in that areas that I focused on. And what actually helped me here was the fact that I could see the feedback. So because I was going there alone, and because it was my first time outside Europe and my first time volunteering in a different culture and such, the only volunteering activities that I had before were in Romania or at university and here in the Netherlands, but it's not the same thing. And this was a totally new experience for me. So I wanted to, of course, have it as safe as possible. And so I decided to check the feedback and go for the activities that had the most recent feedback. I was planning, so my trip took place in last March. So I was, I think it was January or February when I was planning it. So what really helped me was to find feedback that was from December. Okay, maybe December is not that common for travelers to go abroad for, especially because of celebrations and such, but August, October, even January, even within that month. So I was considering only those hosts that had the most recent feedback. That's it, period. I was not interested to see feedback from, of course I was interested to see feedback from June 2022, but my trip took place in March 2023, so it wouldn't give me a confident feedback, let's say, or confident opinion about something, because I didn't know what happened between June and March. So because I was not sure, I decided not to go for those. So this is something that you may take into account also when you plan such a trip. In the description of this vlog, you'll also find my referral link to create an account on the Workaway platform, and the advantage is that you'll get 1 month extra for free. So you will have the 1 year basic membership plus a month extra. Another section of this website that I want to show you, and I'm going to go back to the main page, is plan and meet up. What this means is that, for example, if you want to travel somewhere but you don't want to go alone and you also don't have any friends or any people like available to join you, you can find a travel buddy. This is really nice because here, for example, you can type in the country that you want to go to, and then let's say I want to go there from July to August, which I actually don't recommend for Vietnam because it's very warm, and I want to meet people that actually are able to speak English so I can communicate easily with them. And this is a list of people that go from June to July or from July to August in Vietnam. You can see what their plan is, so you can find people that actually match with your intentions there. You can contact them, and that's how you actually can go with someone that you don't know, but someone that actually has the same goal as you have. So you're not alone anymore, let's say. Aside from the two features that I mentioned to you, you can read about the Workaway community. It's travelers that write tips and tricks on the Workaway blog. It's ambassadors. You can see photos. You can hear their stories. You can see different activities that they were part of, what they learned from those. If you want to learn a new skill, then you can also find hosts that can give you in exchange some knowledge that you're interested in, and also more about safety and what it means for the people behind this platform to validate the hosts. You have 24-hour support in case something happens. Everybody is checked by their ID, including me and including the hosts. You can get some insurance, and you always have like their help. This Q&A section is based on the questions that I received from you while making this vlog, so I thought of addressing them here. So I'm going to go through all of them to answer. What activities did you choose from? First question. There were a lot of options, as I mentioned before, to choose from. What I focused on when I went to Vietnam was to help kids and adults with their English skills, and I also volunteered to help at the bar of a homestay in a village in the northern part of Vietnam. That's also a really nice experience that I'm gonna make a vlog about it. If you want to know more about how I helped kids and children, there is already a vlog out, so you can check it out. And I'm going to post a vlog per activity, so you're going to see the rest of them as well. Second question, who paid you for living costs there and for the plane tickets? Everything was at my own cost. I did not get any money, and I did not get sponsored, or everything was the plane tickets, the visa cost, the vaccination cost that I paid before. Everything was on my own, at my own cost. How long was it? It was I stayed 1 month in Vietnam, so 4 weeks. And out of these 4 weeks, 3 weeks I volunteered, and 1 week was spent, like a few days I spent in Hanoi when I land, and I also had a buffer time before I took off to come back to Europe. And I had another weekend, like long weekend, just for myself, somewhere in nature to recharge in between the volunteering activities. Did you take an unpaid leave, or how did you arrange it with your job? Yes, I took unpaid leave for a month. I didn't want to use my vacation days, even though I had an option to do so, but I decided to go for unpaid leave, and I had to ask for approval from my company. well, not my company, but the company where I work. Planning. So once I had the reply from my hosts, I could, with the map next to me, the map of Vietnam next to me, I could plan properly how much I want to spend here and there and the exact dates. That was the most challenging part of the entire planning, because the hosts wanted to know the exact date, which totally makes sense. It's normal for them to ask that. But for me, everything was like unknown. So I had to plan and adjust and find transportation such that it matches those dates. And I did have some buffer days also, but I had already checked the transportation when I was planning my itinerary. So I kept that into account, and then this is how the planning looked like in the end. How to avoid voluntourism. I'm not sure if you've heard about this term. Voluntourism is a combination of volunteering and tourism. And if you read about it online, you will see that there are people that discourage volunteering and people that encourage volunteering. I did some research about this. Honestly, when I volunteered, I had to let go of the idea that I can save someone or I can be the white. It's called white savior complex. So I had to shift my mindset from being the savior to just be an ally. So to just be next to the community, to bring how much I could from me, and of course something that matches them. And this was the reason for which I didn't want to pay for any agency to volunteer. There are many agencies that require you an outrageous amount of money for you to go to Vietnam to volunteer, or to any other country. And to me, it didn't make sense to pay such amount for what? Because it wouldn't go to the people there. It would go to the agency. So I didn't want to depend on anybody. Of course, it would have been way easier for me, because they would have picked me up from the airport, they would have arranged accommodation and whatever. But I didn't want to do that, because I can do that by myself, and I don't want to pay an agency for me to bring me there to volunteer, because then it's very restrictive in a way. And I don't know, like, I really didn't want to do that. So that's why I started researching, and I came across Workaway, which I really liked, because I just paid a membership subscription to use the platform, and then I had the freedom to plan whenever, whatever, and with whomever I want to go there. I think Workaway offers an ethical way of volunteering. Like, I read about these people that children, especially if you go to an orphanages, you can have the kids that develop attachment issues, because the volunteer will be there only temporary and then they will go away. So then the children will start missing that person and such. But I think that here is a different way of looking at volunteering, because hosts open their doors for volunteers and they say exactly what they need help with, and so they ask for a specific kind of support, and the volunteer doesn't go there knowing that they know the best or whatever. So it's very specific target, let's say, for both the hosts and the volunteers. And they really, like, what I noticed from the people that I interacted with, my host and such, they really want to have foreigners around. At least I'm talking about what I experienced, not about other countries or other activities in Vietnam. But they really encourage kids and children to speak up to foreigners. I was, and as an example, I was in Hanoi and I was walking around the lake, so I was not volunteering at all in Hanoi. It was just for me to accommodate with the culture and such. So I was solo traveling there, literally. and I was walking around a Huan Kiem lake, and then there were kids coming to me to talk to me, and like I can even share this because I filmed myself after this happened, so you can watch it here. So during the weekends, the streets around the Huan Kiem lake are for pedestrians only, so no cars and motorbikes are allowed. And over here behind me there are actually kids that go to school here in Vietnam. They are locals and they come here to talk to foreigners. So there was a little girl just approaching me. She was like, "Hey, excuse me, I need to practice my English. Would you like to have a conversation with me?" That's so sweet. So yeah, they are behind me now. I think I'm going to check out what else is around on this street. So you can do your own research. I highly advise you to read about the culture, to read in depth about the activity, to talk to the hosts and understand their problem and how you can actually contribute to that. I think knowledge is one of the best things to give, especially when volunteering. Like, you just teach the others what you know, because this is the best investment that they can do in themselves and we can do in ourselves to learn, always learn. Of course you can give them money as well, but you better teach them something so they can teach further and also learn to sustain themselves from that knowledge at some point in life. The last question is, how free were you to pick your choices? Was it very flexible or more rigid? As I mentioned already, I could choose any activity I wanted to, and of course once you choose an activity you have to comply to the schedule that is given and to the availability that they have, that the host has. So yes, this is already answered in my vlog. One more thing that I want to mention about the costs. Some hosts in some hosts in on the platform will mention, "Hey, we want you to stay with us so you don't have to pay for accommodation in exchange of the help that you are providing to our needs." That is the case for some places indeed. Some other people say, "Okay, you can stay with us, but because we cannot really afford it, or the environment is this, or we struggle with this and this, we ask you for a fee of €5 per day or anything." I also saw activities where the hosts say, "You are welcome to come to our place to work or to help or to whatever the activity is, but unfortunately we cannot host you because we don't have enough room, or we cannot host you because we have troubles with something, I don't know." So they do mention that, and if they don't mention, please make sure you ask the host. But most of the time you will see on the platform they say you can stay for free in our house, or you have to find accommodation but you can eat with us. There was this activity in the village in the northern part of Vietnam that I'm going to make a vlog about, and we had lunch and dinner and breakfast with them, and we could stay in one of these open spaces that they have usually for tourists, and it was really, really nice. It was a lot of fun also there, and a lot of work, really a lot of work. But you will get to know more about that in the upcoming vlogs. Thank you so much for watching. This was about the Workaway platform. If you have any questions, please write them down in the comment section of this vlog and I will answer them. See you and stay tuned for my visual journals adventures.